Welcome to another episode of the Bernie and Marley podcast, where today I am just by myself. And I just want to thank you guys because our numbers are growing pretty slow. So people are downloading this podcast. And the cool thing that I can see on my side is like what episodes you guys are viewing, what kind of stuff you guys like. So kind of gives me pointers of what to talk about more. And yeah, I just want to say thank you guys. But today's podcast, it's going to be a short one talking about starting your own podcast. And I think the only reason people don't start their own podcast is because of fear. They're scared of what others going to say about them. And I say bullshit on that. And also the number one reason everybody, the famous line I hear, I don't know what to talk about. I'm not interesting. And I'm like, dude, there's so many things like you do in your life that makes a really good story. You just got to sit there with a notebook and just write shit down. Just keep writing it down or do what I do. I always carry my notebook with me and just things will pop up out of nowhere. I'm driving and I'm freaking daydreaming and it just pops up and I'll freaking pull over and just write it down or just wait till I get where I'm going to go to and write it down right there. But you'd be surprised. A lot of people here, there's over 1 billion people and there's shit for everybody. If you want to talk about cupcakes, you want to talk about Pokemon, Digimon, cartoons, movie reviews, freaking conspiracy theories. There's people love stuff like that. It's just the way you create it. You got to make good content, make it relatable to people. Doesn't have to relate to people, but just make it interesting. And you're going to bump into people that say, oh, I don't like your podcast. I don't like this. Well, no shit. This podcast, these episodes I'm creating are not meant for you. You're not the kind of audience I'm targeting. If you scroll around on the iTunes store, like search cupcakes and you'll see their podcast has a bunch of freaking reviews and good 5-star rating podcasts just talking about cupcakes. So like I said, there's something for everybody here. Man, there's 1 billion people. No, don't just think about your circle or the people you went to school with. Fuck them, dude. Like, just worry about the shit you like. Just promote it, advertise it, freaking use social media a lot to promote it. And trust me, the numbers are not going to be there right away. You're going to see a few numbers here, a few numbers there. And then that person tells somebody else about it. That person tells somebody else about it. And they're going to hear it. And then you'll start seeing your numbers growing slowly. And it becomes something you created that's really good. And you're going to be addicted. Like every day you're going to wake up thinking, oh, what should I talk about today? And if you want to do a review on freaking aliens and you don't know anything about aliens, well, get your ass on that computer, go on YouTube. There's a bunch of documentaries on aliens and just talk about shit like that. One thing I figured, like, that's really hard for me to do, I can't come up here and freestyle. Like, I got to write down, I got to outline everything. I'm not going to go word by word, but just outline, like, oh, talk about fear, talk about this, talk about that, talk about that. And that's the way I script my podcast. I tried freestyling one time and I had to keep pressing pause. Delete that, pause again. Oh, that didn't sound good. Delete the whole thing because I wasn't prepared for it. And as I went along, I started realizing, okay, if I outline my stuff, I do my research on the episode of the topic I'm talking about, then it's going to sound good. And another good thing I found about podcasting is that it's way easier to edit audio than doing a YouTube video. I did YouTube videos for a while and it was time consuming. I'm like, I'm working 70 hours a week. I felt like I had to hire somebody to edit these videos. But then again, I didn't want to hire anybody because I was like, what if they set it up the way I don't like it? Like, I have to be there. I want to see them editing it so I can tell them how I like it. And another cool thing about podcasting is it's very cheap to start. All you need is a microphone, maybe get 2. The one I do recommend is the Yeti. It's a Blue Yeti microphone because you buy one and it has options. It has like an interview option on it. It's some buttons in the back where you can talk to both sides of the mic. Like you'll be on one side and the person you're interviewing will be on the other side. It has a cool little stand right here. That's actually the one I'm using right now. But yeah, it's very cheap to start. I'd recommend just getting 2 microphones, and maybe just use a laptop or computer. All you need is like to run 2 different programs. I run 2 different programs on my podcast. I use Audacity, and I use this thing called, what is this, Audio Voicemeeter, to do my podcast. And it's pretty simple. You don't need no high-tech computer. Don't go out there and spend $1,000 on a computer. Just use the damn computer you have at your house. I'm pretty sure it could run these 2 little simple programs. It's no big deal. It's not like a video game you're using on a computer. But yeah, just don't be scared to do a podcast. Just start it out, Go make an episode 2 here, and then just shoot it off to Instagram. You can post it on Facebook, Snapchat, whatever you want. And pretty sure, I'm telling you, people are going to go check it out and join communities, podcasting communities, to get your podcast out there. And one thing I have been noticing is that people are posting like their podcasts. They go on Facebook pages, like conspiracy theory pages, and they'll post it right there. Oh, follow, you guys want to know more about conspiracy theories, follow my podcast. And that's one good way to get numbers right there. Or just like I said, there's something for everybody. It just, there's not, don't feel like you're not interesting. Also, having guests on the podcast would be pretty good, because when you have no stories, you can just tell your friends, like, hey, tell me that one time, tell me how your girl cheated on you and how you found out. But have the questions ready for your friend. All he has to do is just sit there and he has to talk out of his ass and freaking give a really good story. Don't just get to the point, like expand the story, make it a long story. Or have freaking other guests that are really good with conspiracy theories, and let them have their side of it. It's always good to have sometimes 2 people. Makes the story more longer, because we both have different opinions on it, and that makes a pretty good podcast. And like I said, guys, so this is just a really short podcast for today. And if you have any questions on starting a podcast, like there's plenty of stuff on YouTube, but if you want me to answer one of your questions, just hit me up on Instagram at Bernie_G92, or you can just email me, Bernie and Marley podcast at yahoo.com, and I'll message you guys back pretty quick.